I mean, it was a little shock for sure. We had obviously paying attention to the latest current events and um, kind of all the conversations around what should be done in terms of the outbreak and I think when we found out that there weren't any fans, it's kind of just you don't really know what to expect. Been in this league for a very long time and never had to deal with anything like this, so it'll be different. It'll be weird. Obviously, understand the perspective and the decision in terms of trying to do our part to stop the spread and keep people safe first and foremost, and deal with the repercussions of what that means going forward.
What were the last 5 days or so, 6 days for you? Like, you have the comeback, and then obviously, you get the illness, and you have to be tested, and then obviously what it's now become.
I mean, it's obviously different, but again, you kind of just deal with what kind of cards you dealt with in terms of like I was excited to come back and play, and then started to feel a little under the weather, and obviously the seasonal flu, all that type of stuff. It comes and goes for a lot of different people in different walks of life, but obviously now there's a little bit of heightened sensitivity as there should be with the coronavirus. So. Had to go through my necessary process and steps and making sure I was all right and my family and the team and all that type of stuff and everybody, all the experts in terms of who was in charge of that process stepped in and did all the right things.
Steph, you didn't play last night, but if you were playing before a crowd, would you feel a little at risk? Would you feel a little leery about that at this point in time?
Me personally, no. Just in terms of there's a lot of conversations around how people can protect themselves and the necessary things they should be doing on a daily basis. Um, Obviously, there's risks anywhere you go, unless you're completely quarantined. But uh, you know, everybody has to just make the right decision for them, and I think the team is trying to do that. The city is trying to do that. We have jobs to do, and as long as there's games to be played, we're going to play them, whatever the circumstances or the atmosphere is like. But we've been educated the last week and a half on all different ways to protect ourselves, our teammates, the practice facility, the arena, with our hygiene and things like that. So. Yeah, everybody's getting educated on that as we go along to try to get ahead of it as best you can.
You're famous, and where you go, you draw
Thanks,
crowds.
thanks.
I know. Where you go, you draw crowds, which kind of, I guess, put you maybe even more sketchy situations than the regular citizen. How have you had to kind of combat that, and how do you expect to have to? Do you have to like almost hide out at times?
I'm a homebody in general anyway, but a lot of stuff it's crazy just in terms of like the schedules. A lot of things have been canceled. Where you're supposed to hang out with fans or be at different events and things like that, and that's a necessary precaution. First and foremost, it's about protecting myself and my family, and the ones that are around me the most. And so taking care of our household and things like that. But outside of that, there's been a lot of fist bumps and safe space in between. Having good conversations. But other than that, it's you just have to be aware as best you can. We don't live in a bubble, but you can do the things you can to protect yourself.
Steph, you guys are going obviously on a road trip coming in a few days, and a part of that road trip, you're going out of the country. You're going to be on flights. You're going to different buildings. Are you just concerned with, I guess, everyday life in that? All that it comes with that, just going in different spaces and going in different environments?
It does cross your mind, just because you are, like you said, that you can't control everything. But again, it's about just being as educated as possible on what's going on. The latest, research and the patterns of how the virus is working, and again, doing your part to keep yourself and those around you as safe as possible. So, I'd like to just be at home all day for 24 hours and whatever, and quarantine myself. maybe, but we all have to do things that we need to do, and there's people that are reliant on, the world working as it should, as best it can, and I think we're all trying to balance that. It's a tough thing for everybody. People that are out there working jobs that they can't necessarily take time off, they have to make hard life decisions. Like there's a lot of things that everybody is dealing with in this time, and so for us to play a game, with no fans or have to travel and take certain precautions, like we'll do what we need to do and continue to just be aware of what's going on.
Going through the flu, several days of the flu can render anyone's body pretty weak. Where are you in your recovery? I know you're set to return, but what are the things that you've experienced as you get set to make another comeback to the game?
It's just an energy thing in terms of being able to exert the energy necessary to play a basketball game and still, not deplete your whole system. That was the kind of discussion before Tuesday's game or yesterday's game was I able to get up and down the floor and break a sweat and not, feel any side effects or anything like that, or feel just exhausted afterwards. And yesterday and today, getting some good workouts in were necessary and ready for tomorrow. So timing was tough. Obviously, coming back from 58 games and getting excited about getting a rhythm, and then you only get to play one and then have to miss another one. So, I'm excited to get back out there on the floor.